Okay, let's start with a question. What if I told you that one of the most influential storytellers of the 20th century spent most of his career feeling ashamed of his life's work? That's the paradox of Stan Lee. The man who co-created Spider-Man, the X-Men, and basically the entire Marvel universe, and who, by the time of his death in 2018, had become a global icon, once felt embarrassed just calling himself a comic book writer. And that contradiction? That's where the real story lies. Because Stan Lee's journey from self-doubt to cultural immortality isn't just about superheroes. It's about how society defines meaningful art, and why we're all worse off when we dismiss entire mediums as lowbrow. Here's the thing, when Lee started in comics in the 1940s, the medium was treated like junk food. Critics called it trash for kids. Parents burned comics in public squares. Even Lee himself admitted he felt inferior compared to people in serious professions, doctors, engineers, novelists. But here's where he flipped the script. He realized something radical, that entertainment isn't frivolous. It's oxygen. Without it, people lose their grip on sanity. And that's not hyperbole. Think about what gets you through hard times: music, movies, memes. Art isn't a luxury. It's survival. But we're taught to rank art forms hierarchically. Novels, comics. Opera, pop music. Why? Who decides? What fascinates me about Lee's evolution is how he weaponized that shame into creative defiance. He didn't just write stories where nerdy kids became heroes. He made readers feel seen. Peter Parker's problems weren't about saving the world, they were about paying rent, losing loved ones, feeling like a freak. That's why Spider-Man became a phenomenon. Lee understood that comics could be emotionally true, even with radioactive spiders and green goblins. And yet, for decades, Hollywood treated these characters like B-movie fodder. Remember the 1978 Incredible Hulk TV show? They actively tried to make it less comic book-y to seem legitimate. Which raises a question: why do we demand that art apologize for itself to be respected? But let's get uncomfortable. Lee's legacy isn't flawless. He's criticized, rightly, for overshadowing collaborators like Jack Kirby and Steve Ditko, who died without the same recognition. The industry's history with creator rights is disgusting. Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster, the guys who created Superman, spent their lives in poverty while Warner Brothers made billions. So here's the tension: Stan Lee was a genius at popularizing comics, but the system he worked within exploited the very people who made that success possible. And that's still happening. Disney reaps billions from Marvel movies while original creators' heirs struggle to pay medical bills. So when Lee said entertainment was vital, he was right. But the industry he helped build still doesn't treat the people creating that vital art as if they matter. That hypocrisy is baked into the whole system. What's the bigger picture here? Lee's journey mirrors comics' entire struggle for legitimacy. Today, superhero movies are prestige art. Directors like Chloe Zhao win Oscars while adapting Eternals. But comics themselves? Still dismissed. Still underfunded. Still treated like a stepping stone for movies, not art in their own right. And that's why Lee's quote still resonates. He challenged us to ask why we shame people for creating joy. Because here's the truth: I've cried at comic book stories more than at any film. I've found life advice in panels that cost 99 cents. And if you've ever felt a rush of hope when a hero stands back up after being beaten down, that's not just entertainment. That's alchemy. So maybe the real legacy isn't Excelsior, it's permission to stop apologizing for what moves you. What's something you love that others dismiss? Let me know in the comments. And if you found this perspective useful, hit subscribe. Because we're just getting started.